Our radio reps offer short exercises to help you notice and name feelings and soothe and calm your mind and body. But have you ever wondered what could be going on in your brain at those times? Wondered why it is that we get overwhelmed and why these exercises can help to soothe us? Understanding a little about the different parts of our brain can be helpful, especially regarding how they work together or how they don't when it comes to our emotions. It's easy to beat ourselves up for feeling a certain way or for acting in a way that, when we feel calmer, makes no sense to us. If we understand what's happening under the surface and get to know our brain a little, managing our emotions can make a lot more sense. These Find Out in 5 bits of information are kind of a user's guide to the mind, and they aim to help you to understand some of the theory behind our radio rep exercises. The hand model of the brain. The hand model of the brain was developed by Dr. Dan Siegel, a psychiatrist from the USA. Dr. Siegel has researched, worked and written a lot on the links between the brain, our emotions and behaviour. The hand model is a way he developed to start to get to know the different parts of our brain that are important to our emotional experiences. This can help us towards better managing them for our well-being. So today we're going to invite you to find out in 5 about Dr. Siegel's hand model of the brain. This might be a stretch on the radio, but I'm going with it. Remember, you can listen again or find a visual presentation of this on our website. Hold a hand out in front of you with your palm facing towards you. It doesn't matter which hand you use. We're going to imagine for now that your arm and your hand are your brain. With your thumb or a finger from your other hand, track up your arm towards your wrist. This represents your spinal cord. It stretches from your lower back all the way up to something called your brain stem. This is the oldest part of our brain. It's sometimes referred to as the reptile brain. This term helps us to understand what this part of our brain does for us, broadly the things that a reptile can also do. Track your thumb or finger up a little further into your palm, folding the thumb of your facing hand across it. This represents the deep central part of your brain. This is sometimes referred to as the mammal brain because it's broadly linked to abilities that other mammals have. We're particularly interested in emotions in this series, and in this deep, old part of your brain is something called the limbic system, which is central to our emotional world. In this model, this is represented by your thumb. A lot goes on in this part of the brain, and here is our early warning system, the part that helps to keep us safe by being on the lookout for threats. When I'm thinking about this part of the brain, I always imagine a meerkat constantly scanning the environment for danger. It's important to know that this is a better safe than sorry system. It's not the logical, reasoning part of our brain. Its job is to scan for danger and alert you, so it will scoop up lots of things into the threat category. If just one of them is a genuine danger and we avoid it, it's done its job. When something's been scooped into the threat category, signals are sent down into the brainstem and our bodies react. To enable us to react, you've probably heard the term fight, flight, freeze or flop. Curl your fingers down over your thumb. Your fingers represent the cortex. This is the folded part of the brain you might have seen in pictures. It enables us to construct our view of the world with abilities like language, attention, perception, awareness, logic, reasoning and decision making. The very front of this, at the fingertips, represents the prefrontal cortex, which has a role in bringing all of this together. Thanks to all of this, we can learn, we can manage our emotions and make decisions that best serve us. The emotional and thinking parts of the brain are communicating. When information comes in, we can process it logically. So far, so good. Incredibly complicated systems with different important functions working together. So what happens when they disconnect? In this model, that's called flipping our lid. You may remember me saying that when threat is signalled, there are changes to our body. The limbic system also sends information upwards into our cortex, and it might send out such a fierce alert that it effectively narrows our attention and boots a lot of our problem solving or reasoning offline. In our hand model, we can represent this by flipping our fingers up from our thumb so they're outstretched. The emotional part of our brain, the thumb, is now centre stage. Remember, our brain will prioritise our immediate safety, and so it sees little use for anything other than identifying and avoiding the threat at this point. This is helpful if we're in immediate danger, but most of the issues that we face in the modern world don't fit this category. Most of the issues that we face would really benefit from being able to think clearly rather than run or fight. In health, some examples of this are when we're attending appointments, talking to our medical team, or coping with diagnoses, symptoms, or medications. In other parts of life, it could be managing a long to-do list, or feeling lonely, or facing difficulties in finances, family, or work. If our minds interpret these things as a threat, we might not have access to our thinking brain when we need it the most. The outcome is we might find it difficult to make decisions, plan what to do, finish projects, or access help. We might get into conflicts, struggle to remember what's been said in appointments or in other conversations. We might find it even more difficult to decide what treatment option to pick when we're worried or scared. Our emotional brain might guide us to avoid these appointments and conversations altogether. Who hasn't wanted to avoid something frightening at some point? Our aim is to regulate this system so that we can use our resources to meet the difficulties that we face. In this model, this is represented by curling the fingers back over the thumb. And this is where we get back to the reps, because these can be directly influenced by the activities that we're sharing. Taking a break, grounding exercises, relaxing our muscles, noticing and stepping back from our thoughts, steadying our breathing, compassion, and the other exercises can help to settle this system so that we have access to all of our mind once again. We can think things through more clearly, find strength within us or outside of us to help, and be more able to connect to what is really important to us. It doesn't make the problems that we face go away, but it helps us to meet them with all of our resources. The hand model of the brain is a model to understand our minds. It describes a natural common process. For each of us, triggers will be different, but over time we can learn to recognise what they are. You might be able to notice when you're starting to falter. In this model, our fingers would be starting to lift off the thumb. This might include noticing that you're becoming irritable and less able to process what's happening. Engaging in some of the exercises as part of a routine can help us to be more tuned in, both to our own triggers and to avoiding this from happening, or stabilising things more quickly when it does. We hope you found this information helpful. We'll be adding to it with more Find Out in 5s, as well as further reps to support us all to integrate these systems. Please visit our website on yorkhospitals.co.uk and search for Radio Reps to listen again, or to leave us some feedback to guide us in developing these resources.